So we are going to discuss about optical sources and detectors and optical fibers. So first we discuss about the detector which are used in the optical receiver. So firstly, uh, I'll consider the primary function of the optical source. The function of the optical source is to convert an optical electrical signal or electrical quantity into an optical signal which is suitable for the optical fiber for transmission. So this is primarily used in the transmitting part of any optical link. Two classes of light sources are available, which are used for optical communications. So they are heterojunction structured semiconductor laser diodes. They are also referred to as injection laser diodes or ILDs, and light emitting diodes or LEDs. So these are the two classes of light sources which are used as optical sources. And LEDs can be of two different types. One is edge emitting LED, the other is surface emitting LEDs. So at the output of the optical transmission line, there must be a receiving device which should interpret the information which is contained in the optical signal. So whatever we consider in the transmission line, which is an optical fiber, there should be a receiving device or a receiver which has to interpret the information which is exactly contained in the optical signal. And the first element used in this receiver is a photodetector. So what we discuss is about a photodetector. The primary function of this photodetector is it has to sense the luminescent power, the optical power which is falling on the device, which is a photodetector, and it has to convert it to an electric current, and it is going to convert this optical power into the electric current. And the optical signal whatever we get at the output of the optical fiber is generally weak signal, and also the signal may be distorted due to various noise sources when it is going to emerge from the fiber end or the fiber output. So the photodetector should have some very high performance requirement. So in order to select a photodetector, we should have or we should consider a very high performance requirement from such photodetectors. So the requirements of the photodetectors are more. So let us see that. One is high response or sensitivity in the emission wavelength of the optical source that is being used in the optical link. So first thing is it should have a very good response and it should have a very good sensitivity. Then it should have minimum addition of noise to the system. So the noise which gets added during the process of conversion is should be minimum. Then response time should be very fast. So we should have it should have the response speed uh, very faster in comparison with any other device, and the bandwidth should be moderate enough so that it can handle a desired data rate. So the information should not be affected due to the bandwidth change. So it should have a enough bandwidth so that it can handle the proper information required data rate. Then it should be insensitive to temperature variation. So this is very important aspect of the photodetector. So it should not change its information content, or it should not affect the information content due to variation in some temperature. So due to high temperature or due to low temperature, so it should be very insensitive. Then it should be compatible with the physical dimension of the optical fiber. So normally when we have an optical source, optical detector and an optical fiber, all the devices should be physically compatible. So that is a very important aspect. So the physical dimension of the optical fiber should be matched with the device which is an optical detector. So they must be compatible enough to be selected. Then coming to the cost should be reasonable, and it should have a very good reliability. So it should have a long operating life. It is nothing but the reliability. So how far it is reliable, and what about the cost of this device which is going to be selected for conversion. So several types of photodetectors are available. Photomultipliers, pyroelectric detectors, semiconductor based semiconductor photoconductors, phototransistors, and photodiodes. So these are different types of detectors which are available, but these are presently not used due to their bulk size, due to their sensitivity factor, due to gain factor, due to response time, etc. So in comparison with all this, we select just a photodiode, that is a semiconductor based photodetectors. So photodiode is almost for all the fiber optic communication system is used because of its high sensitivity. That is what we require, and fast response time. So that is very important. So it should have a very high sensitivity. The photodiode what we are going to select will have a very high sensitivity, and it has got a very good response time, or a faster response time. So the two types of photodiodes which we are using for converting an optical signal to an electrical current is a pin photodetector and avalanche photodiode, so APD in short. So these are the two devices, and these two devices are selected due to the gain factor, due to the sensitivity, due to the response time. So coming to the first one, we have a pin photodiode. So this is how the pin photodiode has got three different regions or three layers. One is P region or P layer, which is lightly doped so that it has got a very high resistivity, and intrinsic, which is highly doped, and N, which is a N-type material or N layer, which is again lightly doped with high resistivity. So the depletion region width is more when I compare it with any other device. So between the PN junction, we see that the depletion width is very high. Depletion region is more, so that the holes and electrons can freely move within this particular area or the region. And for each photodetector, what we are going to select, so a reverse bias voltage is applied. So the most common semiconductor photodetector is a pin photodiode. So schematically we can see that a bias voltage is applied, and the light which is called as a photon flux H into V. So this is a light intensity. So the light is falling onto this material, and this material has to convert this light into the electric current, so which is obtained as an output. So IP, so that is photo current what we are going to obtain, and it is taken at the load resistor RL. So initially, if I consider at a point 0, the input power is maximum, and whenever I consider at a point W, so power at a point W is very less, so it starts to decrease. So the received power output or power level is going to be decreased as we see the progress of the optical signal. So the device structure is consisting of P and N region, which is separated by a very lightly doped intrinsic region. So in a normal operation, a sufficiently large reverse bias is applied so that the intrinsic region is fully depleted of carriers. So that is, it should have the positive charges in the form of holes and negative charges in the form of the electrons. That is, the intrinsic N and P carrier concentration are very small in comparison with the impurity concentration in this region. So that I already told you that N and P are very lightly doped, which has got high resistivity, whereas the other material, intrinsic material, is slightly more concentrated with the impurity elements in comparison with these two layers. So when a light is incident on this particular device, so that the energy greater than or equal to the band gap energy of the material, then the photon can give up the energy and it can excite an electron from the valence band to the conduction band. So it is nothing but exciting an electron. So excitation of electron is based on the energy which is from the incident photon onto the material. So if the energy is greater than or equal to the energy gap, we call it as band energy gap of the material, then the photon can be excited from the valence band to the conduction band. So that is possible in this case wherever we are going to use this particular device. So this is how, this is the band gap energy, and the energy which is greater than or equal to this energy makes the uh, electron, makes the carriers to move from valence to conduction band. And this process of generating the electron hole pairs which are moving, so that we consider it as a mobile electron hole pairs, and these electrons and holes are known as a photo carriers, which is in this particular diagram. You can see that this is the photo generated hole, and this is a photo generated electron, and this is the photo carriers. So we see that H gamma or HV, so it is the incident energy, so that should be greater than or equal to the band gap energy, so which is represented as Eg. So this is the energy band diagram of a pin photodiode, so that the photons with the energies which are greater than or equal to the band gap energy Eg can generate free electron hole pairs that act as a photocurrent carriers in this particular depletion region. So photon generated carriers are available which are supposed to produce a current flow when a bias voltage is applied across the device. So whenever we apply a bias voltage, the photon generated are necessary to produce a current flow in this particular device. So the number of charge carriers which are controlled by the concentration level of these impurity elements are added to the material intentionally. So we can see that the concentration level of the impurity elements are varied depending on the requirement of the charges which are to be produced in the depletion region. So the photodetector is normally designed so that these carriers are generally generated mainly in the depletion region. So that is what we require. So in the depletion region, the carriers are supposed to be generated, and most of the incident light gets absorbed in the depletion region. So the depletion region width, if it is more and more, then the absorption process is very good, so that the charges are absorbed in this particular depletion region as they are generated. The high electric field which are present in the depletion region causes the carriers to separate, and which are collected across the reverse bias junction. So a high electric field is present in the depletion region which causes the carrier to separate, and which are collected at the reverse bias PN junction. So that is very important aspect here. They give rise to the current flow in an external circuit with one electron flowing for every carrier pair generated. So that is what we are supposed to have, and it is called as a photocurrent. So the current flow in an external circuit with one electron flowing for every carrier which are generated is termed as a photocurrent. So that is what we require. The photocurrent has to be produced for the corresponding the light which is with certain intensity. So as the intensity of the light is going to be affected, then the photocurrent or the photodiode photodetector current which is produced changes. So as the charge carriers flow through the material, some of the electron hole pairs will recombine and they are going to disappear. So that we consider here the recombination of the electrons and holes in the depletion region, and due to the presence of reverse bias, the charges move away as the depletion region widens, and the charges which are positive charges in the P region are considered to be the acceptors from the N region in the form of electrons, and the electrons which are in the N layer or N region will be the donor to the p-type material or P region of the pin photodiode. So on the average, the charge carriers, that is electrons and holes, move with certain distance L and Ln and Lp for N and P regions respectively, and this distance we consider it as a diffusion length. and the time that is taken by an electron or a hole which can be used to recombine is called as or is known as a carrier lifetime, and it is represented by tau n and tau p. So this is the time taken to recombine the hole, and this is the time taken to recombine the electron. So the lifetime and the diffusion lengths are related by this particular expression. Ln is equal to dn into tau n to the power half, and Lp is equal to dp into tau p to the power half. So dn and dp are the diffusion coefficients of the electron and holes in centimeter square per second. So as the photon flux penetrates a semiconductor, it will be absorbed as it passes through the material. So as it passes through the material due to the reverse bias, the high electric field, which is based on the photo flux or photo uh, generated flux, penetrates into the semiconductor, then the light gets absorbed into the material. So if I consider P in is the optical power which falls on the detector at x equal to 0, and P of x is the power level at a distance x into the material, then we see that the movement of the light and absorption of light into the material. So then incremental change d into P of x in the optical power level as this photon flux passes through an incremental distance dx in a semiconductor, so that can be given as d into P of x is equal to minus alpha s into P of x into dx. So this is the absorption coefficient which is represented as a function of wavelength for several different photodetector material. So these are the photodetector materials which are used. Depending on this photodetector material, the wavelength what we consider, the light absorption coefficient is going to be different. So integrating the above relationship at a power level x is given by the material as P of x is equal to P in into exponential of minus alpha s into x. So this is taken based on the movement of charges from a point O or 0 to a point x. That is the movement of charges in the depletion layer of the material. So it is clear that alpha s depends strongly on wavelength. So from the graph we saw that, or the response we saw that alpha s is dependent on the wavelength. And a semiconductor material can be used only over a limited wavelength range. So this is the selection what we normally do, which is dependent on the particular wavelength. Then the upper wavelength cutoff is determined by the band energy gap of the material, e.g., which was discussed earlier, based on which the photons are going to be, the photo generated carriers are going to be moved from valence band to conduction band. So that is given by 1.24 by Eg in electron volt, and lambda c for silicon is 1.06 micrometer. So this is the cutoff wavelength specified for two different materials, silicon and germanium. So for germanium it is 1.6 micrometer. So for longer wavelengths, the photon energy is not enough to excite an electron from valence to conduction band. So use a wavelength with the shorter wavelength as much as possible, because alpha s depends mainly on the wavelength. So also at lower wavelength, the photoresponse cuts off for larger values of alpha s. So because photons are absorbed very nearer to the photodetector surface, where the recombination time of the electrons and holes are very short, so that they recombine before they can be collected by the photodetector. So that is a problem because of which the value of alpha s mainly depends on the wavelength, and if the wavelength is very low, or if we select a very lower wavelength, then there is a problem with this recombination process at the photodetector. So if the depletion region has a width W, then the total power absorbed in the distance W, W is the width of the depletion region. So there must be some time taken by the signal which can cover this depletion region of certain width W. So if the depletion region width is more and more, then the time taken by the charge carriers or the charges to flow in this particular depletion region to change its position from one point to other point, the time taken will be more. So the distance should be minimal in such cases. So P of W is equal to this integral of 0 to W alpha s into power input P in exponential of minus alpha s into x into dx, which is P in into 1 minus e to the power of minus alpha s into W. So if RF is the reflectivity at the entrance phase of the power absorption, because whatever we consider at the recombination process, depending on the holes and electrons which are generated, so it has to be recombined and it has to be collected at the photodetector circuitry or the photodetector. So depending on that, if I consider the reflectivity, then reflectivity is at the entrance phase or the initial phase of this particular power absorption coefficient, and that is given by IP q by h gamma into p into 1 minus e power minus alpha s into omega rw into 1 minus rf. So this is the reflectivity. The reflectivity is also a factor which is affecting the photodetector current. And in this equation, Pin is the optical power incident of the photodetector, and Q is the electron charge, and H omega is the photon energy. So characteristics of photodiode, so that is very important when we select a photodiode. So the two important characteristics of photodiode or photodetectors are, one is the efficiency. So we consider it as a quantum efficiency. Then we have remote speed. These parameters mainly depend on three different factors. One is the material band gap. So the material what we are going to consider, and based on the impurity elements added to the material, the band gap is created. So that is one of the factor which is affecting the efficiency of the photodiode, and also the response time, or what we call it as a speed. Then operating wavelength. So this is a major concern when we consider the operating wavelength. Operating wavelength should be selected with a very high value, or more higher operating wavelength should be considered, which could not affect the recombination process. Then doping and thickness of P, I, N regions of the device. So this is very important. By looking into the resistivity required for P, I, and N regions, the doping has to be done. And the more the doping, the resistivity is going to be lesser. So depending on this, we are supposed to have the doping concentration in P, I, and N regions, and also the thickness of the layers such that the region, P region, N region, and I region are having a proper thickness, due to which the photo current which can be produced from the input optical power is maximum. Okay, so this is how we consider a particular characteristics of a photodiode, and the efficiency is going to be affected due to the band gap, operating wavelength, doping, and thickness of these PIN regions in the device, and also the speed of the response, or what we call it a response time, is also a factor which is dependent on these three: material gap, operating wavelength, and also the doping and thickness of these three regions, and also the depletion region thickness. So that is very important if I consider intrinsic layer. So that is one which is going to be considered as the depletion region. So as we see, the thickness of the depletion region is more and more, then the recombination process of the charge carriers are going to take place with more time, and depending on the doping concentration, the resistivity of this depletion region is also going to be affected.